Throughout my recruitment career, I have worked with hundreds of different types of candidates, ranging from juniors all the way to seniors. And throughout my time in working with these candidates and also hiring managers from different companies, this is what I believe is the best skill that you can have in your 9 to 5 and that you can hopefully take moving forward in that next step in your career. Okay? Asking questions. All right, this is the single best and most important skill that you can learn, that you can have when you're in a 9 to 5, and you can do it across all levels. But it is extremely important in setting a tone for who you are as a professional as you start your corporate career. Okay, so asking questions. What do I mean by this? Okay, it doesn't mean, when you walk into the office on a Monday morning, you start asking everybody in the floor, how was their weekend? What'd you get up to? All this sort of stuff. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when it comes to your actual work, in asking questions and clarifying expectations. Okay, so what I mean by this is that when you get given a task, when you get given a piece of work to do, when you get given a piece of information, okay, the number one piece of advice I will give is ask questions if you don't understand. Okay, ask questions to clarify, ask questions to better your understanding. Okay, now why should we be doing this? Okay, at the end of the day, when you ask questions, you clarify your understanding. Okay, and this relates back to my next point in why it being important is that it helps with you coming across as more predictable. Okay, so let's say I give you a task and I say, okay, you need to be able to do XYZ by Wednesday. Okay, cool. You understand the deadline, all right? Then they talk you through the task, or they'll talk you through the skill that you need to learn. Okay, it's so important that when you don't understand something, you ask a question right there and then. Okay, now probably sounds like to you when I'm saying this stuff, you're like, oh my gosh, okay, no way he's telling me this. So this is the most obvious advice ever. You would be surprised, particularly from grads who hear things being said to them at work. And I was like this as well when I first started. Okay, when you're being told information, so much information, and they're telling you how to do a task, they're telling you what to do, you may not understand one or two things. You don't want to be seen as dumb. You don't want to slow them down when they're talking. You're still a little bit scared to ask questions. You're scared how people around you might see you. You think about all these different things, okay? And you also don't want to look like you're behind, okay? So let's say you're a couple months in the job and they're telling you how to do a task, but there's one or two things in the task that you don't understand how to do. You may be thinking they may have expected you to know that by now, but you're kind of too scared to break out and be like, okay, how do I actually do this? So by not asking any questions, you think in that moment you're doing the right thing, but all that's going to happen is you're going to delay the workflow, the output isn't going to be as good, and you're just going to disappoint your boss. Okay, it's so important that when you get given a task or a piece of information or a piece of work that you need to do, if you are not 100% across it, ask about, how do I do this? Why is this being done? What's the process? What's the workflow? Whatever it is, okay, ask questions to clarify your understanding. Okay, and this ties in with my next point with it being so important, is because when you ask questions, it betters your own knowledge. Okay, so when you're getting given a task and you don't understand what to do or how to do it, if you just pretend and you're like, oh, okay, I got 60% of what she said, but still there's a bit of confusing elements to it. If you just take that on board and you just go with it, the output isn't going to be as good. You're going to ruin the workflow. Your output's not going to be good. You're going to disappoint your boss and you're going to mess up the whole operation of whatever that process was. Okay, all because you were too scared to ask that initial question. Okay, and this relates back to always my number one thing that I always talk about in a corporate environment is being predictable. In being predictable, it gives them more fulfillment. It gives them more, satisfaction with you as an employee to be like, look, okay, he doesn't understand something. I know that he'll ask questions. Okay, so it's so important to be asking questions and being predictable, so they know that if you aren't asking questions, it's because you get it and you're going to give your absolute best work straight away. Okay, it's not always about trying to do the best. It's about doing your best in your job, in your work. And if you don't understand something, clarify that as early as possible, because all that's going to lead to is, if you don't do it, okay, if you don't ask the questions, the workflow and your output is going to be nowhere near as good as someone who asks the question early on. Okay, so my actionable step here is the next time you are at work and you are being given a task or you're being told to do something, one, clarify when they would like it done by, and two, the second they're explaining something and you don't get it, stop them straight away. Sorry, how do I do this? Or sorry, how would you like this done? Okay, whatever it is, you need to be firm, you need to be straight to it, and you need to be quick to outline and quick to explain what you don't get. Okay, and with that, you will get that extra bit of information that will hopefully be able to help you. Okay, I think a lot of candidates as well, and a lot of people in general, they're scared to ask even the same question 2 or 3 times if they don't understand something. Look, if it absolutely comes down to it, just tell them, say, look, can you please dumb this down a little bit? I'm not understanding it. Okay, you shouldn't be afraid to ask the same question 2 or 3 times. And if you are, maybe it's not the best environment for you. Okay, you need to be going into things trying to get total understanding. Even if you don't get it, ask again, follow up, do things like that. Okay, so you can make sure your output is as best as possible and you are regarded as trustworthy to your team, because they know whenever they give you a task, you're going to do your absolute best. Because if you don't get something, you will ask, you will clarify, and you will further your knowledge to make sure you are as most knowledgeable as possible to do the best work as possible. And that is how you become a predictable candidate. You become a safe candidate. You become a candidate that when, or sorry, an employee, I should say, or a worker or a colleague, that when your boss gives you work, they know they can trust you because the output will be 100%. Because if you don't get something, you're going to ask. You're not going to pretend to know and just hope for the best. Okay? You never want to be unpredictable with your output. You always want to be predictable, safe, and secure. And the best way to do that is to ask the question firsthand, to not be afraid of looking a little bit stupid, and also understanding that if you're scared to ask questions, maybe it's not the best environment for you. Okay? But I guarantee you, in a corporate setting, asking questions is 100% fine. Okay? If you're too scared to ask the actual person delivering the information, ask a colleague, do your research, whatever it is, just ask questions, further your knowledge to ensure your output is as good as possible. Okay? I hope you guys enjoyed this video. The information here, it probably came across as a little bit repetitive, but I want you guys to understand these traits as early as possible in your career. Don't pretend to do something or don't pretend to know something you don't know. Okay? I've seen it cost people jobs before. I don't want that to happen to you. Okay? Hope you guys got some value from this entire episode. If you guys enjoyed and you do want to work with me on a one-to-one level, click the link below for a free consultation. Happy to tee up a 30-minute chat with yourself and work out your goals and how we can work together moving forward. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Take care. See you guys next time.